Online reading journals is one way that you can use Lino for students. For this particular journal, I made kind of a generic canvas that shows some critical thinking and critical reading questions that students can answer as they're reading any piece of informational text. And so I've got copy a short passage that you found interesting, explain what made it interesting for you. Write a summary of what you read in your book today. Write to inform us about the author. What other articles or books has the author written? Explain some of the things that you've learned so far that you are not likely to forget in the future. What ideas might you have for turning this work of nonfiction into a work of fiction? Give a summary. And then explain the basic information that is being presented in terms of the 5 W's. Okay? I got these questions from a website called dailyteachingtools.com, which is just reading response questions. You can use this for anything that you want. This is a very general journal. So what students would do with this is I would post this as my demo, and then students would set up their own Lino site and copy these onto their reading journals. Then as they're reading whatever they're reading for that day, say you do SSR or some type of daily reading activity, students would do their reading, and then they would pick one of these post-its for that particular day, put the date on it, and then answer the question with respect to what they were reading. I might have another post-it on here that says something like, please remember to put the title of your article and the author, or the book that you're reading, the title and the author, so that you know what students are reading. This would be a great way to organize daily reading activities in a way that lets students reflect on what they've read, and yet at the same time you don't have to go through everything all at once. They can put things onto their Lino. They can make those journals as interactive as they want. If they get really in-depth with something, they're like, ooh, I'd like to find more information about that, they can use their Lino to gather more information. For example, on this one where it says talk about the authors, what other books or articles the author's written, they can actually go on the web and find those and then add them right to their Lino, and then the next time they want to read something, they have some things that they can read right there available for them. They don't have to go looking for something to read. Another way to use Lino for online reading journals would be if you were reading a novel. Instead of printing out all of your reflection questions or your reading questions for each chapter of your novel, you can put them onto a Lino, and then students have access to it from anywhere that they are. They can take your stickies and they can put them onto their own reading journal, and then they can answer your questions from there. A third way that you could use this is you could very easily organize reading journals for something like It Says, I Say So, for doing inferences. And so you can set yours up so that this post-it and these would be It Says, and that's where students would write the passage from the book with the page number. This column could be the I Say. This is where students would write their own background information about whatever was going on in that passage. And then you could have a third column right here that says so, and this is where students would make an inference. And so you could do It Says, I Say So on a Lino so that students have access to that for their entire book. And those are 3 ways that you can use online reading journals with Lino.